Have you ever caught yourself thinking, why am I not happy, even when everything seems fine on the outside? You have friends, a job, maybe even a partner, yet something inside feels hollow, empty, restless. Why does happiness feel so distant, so fragile? Before we dive in, if you're searching for clarity, if you're tired of chasing temporary highs only to fall back into confusion, subscribe to Stoic Vibes, like the video, and stay with me till the end. Because this isn't just philosophy, it's a blueprint. A shift that could reshape your love life, your peace of mind, and the way you show up every day. Let's begin. There's a story of a man named Lucius. In the eyes of society, he had it all. Wealth, a beautiful wife, respect in his community. Yet Lucius woke up every morning with a strange ache in his chest. It wasn't physical, but it gnawed at him. He chased promotions, traveled to new places, bought things he didn't need just to feel something, but happiness kept slipping through his fingers like sand. One day, sitting in the silence of a Roman bath, an older man said something that stopped Lucius cold. "You keep looking for joy in places that were never designed to hold it." That man was a Stoic. What he meant was simple. Happiness is not something we find. It's something we build from the inside out. So how do we do that? How do we create our own happiness? Instead of depending on a world that keeps letting us down, let's explore the Stoic path, timeless wisdom for today's restless heart. Number 1, understand the true nature of happiness. Let me ask you something personal. Have you ever been in love so deeply that you felt like nothing else mattered? Like every moment with that person lit up your world? Maybe it was your first love, the kind that kept you up at night texting for hours, heart racing at the sound of their name. Maybe it was recent. Maybe you're in it now, or maybe you lost it. Now tell me this, when that person started acting distant, or when they left, did it feel like your whole world collapsed? If you nodded even slightly, you're not alone. We've all felt it, that terrifying realization that our happiness was tied to someone else's actions, to someone's presence, to someone's approval. And when they pulled away, we didn't just lose them, we lost ourselves. But here's where Stoicism whispers a powerful truth. Happiness was never meant to be held in someone else's hands. There's a story from ancient Rome of a man named Lucius, a respected merchant. He fell madly in love with a woman named Alina. She was beautiful, graceful, magnetic. He gave her everything, his time, his heart, his dreams, and for a while she gave her love back. But slowly things changed. Her warmth faded. She grew cold, and one day she was gone. Lucius crumbled. He stopped eating, stopped sleeping. He walked the streets of Rome like a ghost, not because she left, but because his happiness left with her. Then one day, he met a Stoic teacher who said something that shattered his old way of thinking. "You didn't lose happiness, Lucius. You just misplaced it." That line changed his life. You see, the Stoics taught that true happiness isn't found in someone else's arms. It's found in how you respond to life when love fades, when people leave, when plans fall apart. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." Think about that. What if the love you gave someone, you could now give to yourself? What if instead of needing them to validate you, you could say, "I'm enough just as I am"? This isn't about becoming cold. Stoicism isn't about closing your heart. It's about making sure your joy doesn't shatter when love ends. Because the moment you tie your happiness to something or someone outside of you, you hand over your power. So I'll ask you this right now. Is your happiness in your own hands? Or is it still locked in the memory of someone who stopped choosing you? Don't rush the answer, feel it. Because when you begin to understand this, really understand it, you'll realize happiness isn't something you wait for. It's something you become, and that's just the beginning. Stick with me because the next Stoic shift might just free you from a pattern you've been stuck in for years. Let's keep going. Number 2, focus on what you can control. Let me take you back to a moment. It's late at night. You're lying in bed, staring at your phone, waiting for their message. You've sent something, maybe just a simple "I miss you." But minutes pass, then an hour. Still nothing. And that familiar pain returns, right in your chest. You refresh the screen again. You go through old messages. You start asking yourself 1,000 questions. Did I do something wrong? Are they losing interest? Are they talking to someone else? Sound familiar? You're not crazy. You're just human. We've all been there, especially in love. We try so hard to control how someone feels about us, what they say, what they do. We overthink every emoji, every pause in the conversation. We tie our peace to their attention, and we suffer for it. But the Stoics, especially Epictetus, give us a lifeline. One idea that could instantly change the way you feel. Some things are up to us and some things are not. That's it. That's the line. But it's more than a quote, it's a filter, a boundary, a shield for your sanity. Let me tell you about Helena. She loved hard, gave her heart to someone who was uncertain, hot and cold. One day he'd say she was everything. The next he'd ignore her for hours. She cried. She begged. She adjusted herself, thinking, if I change, he'll stay. But nothing worked. Until one day she stumbled upon Stoicism. And the next time he went silent, she whispered something different to herself. I can't control how he shows up, but I can control how I respond. She turned her phone off that night, not out of anger, but peace. She slept for the first time in weeks. That moment didn't fix everything, but it freed her. You see, when you chase control over what isn't yours, someone's mood, someone's love, you become a slave to uncertainty. But when you master what is yours, your breath, your thoughts, your choices, you become unstoppable. In your relationships, this is everything. You can't make someone love you the way you want, but you can love with clarity and walk away with dignity when they don't. You can't erase your past, but you can choose what story you tell yourself about it. You can't stop people from leaving, but you can stop chasing after those who never valued your presence. So here's the Stoic truth. The moment you focus on your side of the fence, your reactions, your mindset, your values, is the moment you begin to heal. You stop being a puppet pulled by emotions. You start being the author of your own life. So I'll ask you, who or what are you trying to control right now? And what would happen if you just let go? Think about that, because on the other side of letting go is peace. Stay with me. The next Stoic principle might just change the way you handle pain forever. Number 3, practice gratitude daily, even for pain. Let me ask you something that might hit close to home. Have you ever thanked the person who broke your heart? I don't mean out loud. I mean silently to yourself. Have you ever sat there alone, months or even years after they walked away, and said, thank you? No? That's okay. Most people never do, because pain doesn't usually feel like something to be grateful for. It feels like betrayal, like abandonment, like something was stolen from you and left unreplaced. But what if I told you? The Stoics saw pain differently. There's a short, powerful line by Seneca that says, a gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials. Let that sit for a moment. The Stoics believed that pain wasn't punishment. It was preparation. Let me tell you about Amir. Amir was in love head over heels. The kind of love that makes you text good morning before you even brush your teeth. The kind of love where you picture your future. Their last name, the house, the kids. But then she left. No warning, no closure. Just silence, blocked, discarded like a stranger. He spiraled, questioned his worth, his looks, his whole identity. Weeks turned into months. He couldn't move on. Until one day, sitting in a park alone, he read something Marcus Aurelius once wrote. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. And it hit him like thunder. What if this heartbreak wasn't the end of his story? What if it was the beginning of becoming the man he was always meant to be? That day, Amir did something wild. He whispered, thank you. Thank you for leaving. Thank you for breaking me. Because it forced me to rebuild. And that, my friend, is what Stoic gratitude looks like. It's not just about saying thank you when life is good. It's about looking at the cuts, the scars, the mess, and saying, even this has value. When your partner cheats, your friend betrays you, your plans fall apart, don't rush to numb the pain. Pause. Ask, what is this trying to teach me? Maybe it's telling you to stop relying on others for your happiness. Maybe it's pushing you toward growth you've been avoiding. Maybe it's refining you like fire purifying gold. Every painful chapter you survive becomes part of the strength you carry. And when you shift your mindset from why me to what now, you go from being a victim of life to a student of it. So I'll ask you again, can you thank the person who broke you? Not because they were right, but because they woke up something in you. Gratitude isn't about pretending the pain didn't happen. It's about realizing it shaped you into someone wiser, stronger, and more awake. Stick with me, because next, we're going to tackle a silent, killer of happiness, comparing your life to someone else's. You're not ready to miss that one. Number 4, define your own standards of success. Let's talk about something that's quietly destroying your happiness. It's not your breakup. It's not your job. It's not even your past mistakes. It's comparison. Tell me honestly, have you ever looked at someone else's life and thought, why them and not me? Maybe you saw your ex move on and seem happier. Maybe your friend just got married, and you're still sleeping alone, scrolling through old photos at 2 a.m. Maybe your younger cousin is already driving the car you always dreamed of, while you're stuck riding the bus, wondering what you did wrong. We don't say it out loud, but it stings. It stings when you feel like you're falling behind in a race you didn't even sign up for. But the Stoics have a truth that can pull you out of this trap. If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Epictetus. What does that mean? It means you have to be brave enough to look like you're losing, while you're secretly winning your own inner battle. Let me tell you a story about Alina. She was 30, single, working 2 jobs, no degree. Meanwhile, her friends were buying homes, having weddings, traveling to Bali. She started to feel ashamed, like her life was off track. One night, she scrolled through her feed and saw her ex, engaged, smiling, holding hands with someone else. That photo hit her like a truck. She turned off her phone and cried on the floor. But the next morning, she opened a journal and wrote one question. What does success look like to me? Not to society, not to her parents, not to Instagram. And slowly she wrote, peace in my own mind, waking up without dread, loving someone without losing myself, creating art that matters, becoming someone I respect. In that moment, her whole story shifted. Because here's the truth. If you're measuring your life by someone else's ruler, you'll always come up short. The Stoics taught us that true success is virtue. It's character. It's the way you live when no one's watching. So instead of asking, am I doing enough? Ask, am I becoming the person I want to be? And when it comes to love, stop asking, why didn't they choose me? Start asking, do I even want the kind of love they were offering? You see, once you define success for yourself, you stop being shaken by what everyone else is doing. Your path won't look like theirs. It's not supposed to. And just because someone looks like they're ahead, doesn't mean they're at peace. Define your values. Live by them. That's Stoic success. That's how you build real happiness without needing applause. We're not done yet. Next up, we'll break down one of the most dangerous lies we tell ourselves every day. You've probably said it before, if only. Let's tear that apart together. Number 5, remove the if-only mentality. If only, 2 small words, but they carry the weight of entire lifetimes. If only I had more money. If only she hadn't left me. If only he had loved me the way I loved him. If only I looked better, talked smoother, had a better job, a better body, more time, fewer scars. Sound familiar? You see, the if-only mindset is one of the most dangerous things in your pursuit of happiness. Why? Because it convinces you that joy lives somewhere else. That peace is waiting for some perfect moment that never comes. Let me tell you about Zara. Zara had been in love with the same man for 5 years. She gave everything, time, loyalty, forgiveness. More forgiveness than anyone should ever have to give. But deep down, she always felt second. He was emotionally distant, hot and cold. And every time she brought it up, he said the same thing. If only I wasn't so stressed. If only you were more patient. If only life was easier. Maybe I could love you better. So she waited. She twisted herself into shapes that weren't hers. She shrunk. She stayed. Because she believed that one day, if only, he would change. But he didn't. And one morning, after another night of silence and shattered expectations, she looked in the mirror and said something different. What if I stopped waiting for him to change and started changing myself? That single shift shattered her illusion. You see, the if-only mentality robs you of the now. It steals your power and replaces it with hope that never delivers. The Stoics, they refused to play that game. They believed in amor fati, the love of fate. That doesn't mean passively accepting everything that happens. It means embracing your life as it is, not as you wish it would be. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Accept whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny, for what could more aptly fit your needs?" In other words, stop fighting reality. Start shaping your response to it. That person didn't love you. Maybe it's because they were never meant to hold your heart in the first place. You didn't get that opportunity. Maybe it's because you were meant to build something on your own terms. This mindset doesn't make pain go away, but it reclaims your power. It pulls you back into the present where real life happens. So ask yourself, what's your if only? What dream, what person? What outcome are you still waiting for to finally feel enough? Now take a breath and let it go. Because you don't need anything out there to be whole in here. Right now is all you ever have, and it's more than enough if you choose to see it. The next Stoic principle will give you a tool that even Marcus Aurelius used every single night to stay grounded in that present moment. We're talking about the power of daily journaling. You won't want to miss it. Number 6, keep a Stoic journal. Let me ask you something deeply personal. When was the last time you were truly honest with yourself? Not with your partner, not with your friends, just you. When was the last time you sat down alone and asked, what am I really feeling right now? See, most of us spend our lives trying to avoid our own thoughts. We scroll, we binge, we distract. But inside, there's a storm we never face. Old heartbreaks, regrets, unspoken dreams, self-doubt, and sometimes even shame. Now imagine this. You sit down with a pen in a quiet moment. No filters, no pretending. You write, I'm hurting because she never looked back. I'm scared I'll never be enough. I miss the version of me that used to believe in love. That is the beginning of healing. Because the moment you start journaling, you stop lying to yourself. The Stoics knew this centuries ago. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of Rome, one of the most powerful men in history, kept a private journal. He didn't write to impress. He didn't write for fame. He wrote to stay sane. His journal, later known as Meditations, was filled with raw, unfiltered reflections, doubts, fears, reminders to himself like, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This wasn't philosophy for show. It was therapy for his soul. Let me tell you about Saif, a regular guy, heartbroken after a 3-year relationship ended without warning. She said she needed space and then never came back. He kept checking her status, watching her stories. She looked fine, thriving, glowing. He wasn't. Until one night he picked up an old notebook and wrote 3 lines. What hurt me today? Where did I lose control of myself? What can I do differently tomorrow? He wrote honestly, every night. At first it was messy, ugly even, but day by day something shifted. He stopped blaming her. He stopped begging life to rewind. He started seeing himself clearly. And that clarity? That's where happiness begins. Because journaling isn't just writing, it's confronting. It's where you meet the real you. The parts that cry at midnight. The parts that crave love. The parts that dream of peace but keep chasing chaos. When you start keeping a Stoic journal, you create a space that no heartbreak, no rejection, no mistake can touch. A place that belongs only to you. So tonight I challenge you. Before bed, open your phone's notes app or grab a pen and write just 3 things. 1. What did I do well today? 2. Where did I give away my peace? 3. How will I respond differently tomorrow? Do it for a week. Then watch what happens. Because sometimes the key to happiness isn't fixing your life. It's finally listening to yourself. And the more honest you are on that page, the freer you become in real life. Next up, we're going to explore something the Stoics did on purpose, choosing discomfort, and why it might be the fastest way to personal power you've never tapped into. Stay with me. Number 7, embrace voluntary discomfort. Let me ask you something that might make you uncomfortable. When was the last time you did something hard, on purpose? Not because you had to, but because you chose to? In today's world, we run from pain. We avoid heartbreak like the plague. We chase comfort like it's the only thing that matters. But what if I told you that comfort is the real trap, and pain, when chosen wisely, is your ticket to freedom? Let me tell you about Ali. Ali had just gotten out of a toxic relationship, one of those soul-crushing ones. His girlfriend made him feel like he was never enough, too emotional, too weak, too slow to move on. When she left, she didn't just leave. She humiliated him, blocked him, posted cryptic quotes, showed off her new guy within days. Ali collapsed inside, and for a month, he did what most of us would. He numbed it, scrolled, overate, stayed in bed, watched her stories through fake accounts. Until one morning he came across a single sentence by Seneca. Set aside a certain number of days, during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself all the while, is this the condition I feared? and something inside him snapped. He got up, turned off his Wi-Fi, and made a decision. For the next 7 days, no comfort, no social media, no junk food, no distractions, just him, a notebook, a walk in the cold, a hard reset. And in that week, he found something he'd forgotten existed: inner strength. You see, the Stoics practiced voluntary discomfort not to suffer but to train their minds, to remind themselves that they could survive what they feared. They slept on the floor, walked barefoot, ate simple meals, not because they were poor, but because they wanted to make sure they could handle life without luxury. So what does that mean for you? It means taking cold showers, waking up early, walking alone instead of texting your ex, sitting with your sadness instead of running to distractions. Because every time you choose discomfort, you remind your nervous system, I am in control, not my cravings, not my fears. And that is real freedom. In love, this is everything. When you can sit with loneliness without rushing back to someone who mistreated you, when you can walk away from a toxic connection without begging, when you can feel the pain and still keep your head held high, you become untouchable. So I'll ask you, what are you avoiding right now? What feeling, what truth, what hard decision are you running from? What if you stopped running? What if you leaned into it just for a day? Try it. Not because you want to suffer, but because you're ready to stop being a prisoner of comfort and start being the architect of your own power. And that power, it's the foundation of lasting happiness. Next up, we're going to talk about something that seems simple, but might just be the most powerful secret to peace: being present. Completely present. Don't miss this one. Number 8, be present, completely present. Let me ask you something quietly, gently. Where are you right now? I don't mean your physical location. I mean your mind. Is it here with me in this moment? Or is it somewhere else? Maybe it's still stuck in a memory of someone who left. Or maybe it's worried about the future. Who's going to love you next? What's going to go wrong? How it all ends? We live in a world that teaches us to leave the moment. We multitask while we eat. We scroll while we talk to people we care about. We're physically present, but emotionally miles away. And the Stoics? They saw that coming centuries ago. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." It wasn't just a spiritual suggestion, it was survival. Because the only place your power exists is now. Let me tell you a story about Farah. Farah was in a relationship for 2 years. It was love, but a chaotic kind. Fights, makeups, late night, calls full of crying and apologies. Passionate, but unstable. And even when she left, she didn't really leave. She replayed the memories daily. The way he touched her hair. The way he said, "I'll never leave you." She lived in that space, in her head, even though the real world had moved on. Then one day, on a train ride home, she overheard an old woman say to her friend, "I spent most of my life reliving the past. Now I wish I had just lived it when I had the chance." It hit her like lightning. Farah realized she was missing the one thing she actually had now. That moment, that ordinary train ride, with sunlight streaming through the window and strangers breathing around her. That was life. Not the memories, not the future, but the breath she was taking right there. And she started practicing presence, not perfectly, but purposefully. She turned her phone off during meals. She started looking people in the eye again. She let herself feel not just the good, but the raw, uncomfortable realness of being alive. You see, when you're present, even heartbreak becomes meaningful. The silence of a room becomes peaceful. The taste of food becomes sacred. The smile of a stranger can feel like the whole world saying, "You're okay." Presence is the secret doorway to happiness you've been ignoring. Because anxiety lives in the future, regret lives in the past, but peace only lives here. So try this with me now. Take a breath. Feel it go in and out. Feel your feet, your heartbeat, your body. You are here, right now, and that is enough. The more you return to the present moment, the less power your pain has over you. You don't need to fix your entire life in one day. You just need to come back to now over and over. Up next, we'll talk about one of the most toxic forms of unhappiness: needing constant validation from others. You might not even realize you're doing it, but once you spot it, you can free yourself from it forever. Stay with me. Number 9, let go of external validation. Can I ask you something raw? How often do you check your phone? Just to feel wanted? One unread message, one heart on a story, one "Hey, how are you?" And suddenly you feel alive again. It's okay. You're not weak for that. We all crave validation, to be seen, to be chosen, to be enough in someone else's eyes. But let me tell you something the Stoics knew, and most people never learn. The moment you need someone else to approve of you, you give them the keys to your happiness. Let me tell you about Rayan. He fell in love hard with someone who made him feel like he was on top of the world, when she felt like it. But the rest of the time, he felt like a ghost, like he was constantly auditioning for her attention. He changed how he dressed. He changed how he spoke. He held back his opinions just to avoid upsetting her. Because deep down he thought, if she likes me, I matter. If she leaves, I disappear. Then one night, after she didn't reply for hours, he scrolled her profile obsessively, heart pounding. She was online, laugh reacting to someone else's post. That night something broke, but not in a tragic way, in a necessary way. The next morning he came across this line from Epictetus. If you want to be free, don't wish for things to happen as you want, but wish for them to happen as they do. And suddenly it clicked. He realized he had built his identity around her validation, and the problem wasn't her. The problem was his belief that he had to be approved to be valuable. So he did something bold. He turned his attention inward. He started asking himself, do I like who I am today? Instead of do they? At first it felt empty, unfamiliar, like walking on new legs. But day by day he built something stronger than approval. He built self-respect. And that's what the Stoics teach us. Your worth cannot live in someone else's hands, not in your ex's opinion, not in your follower count, not in your family's expectations. It must live in how you carry yourself when no one's watching. When you can walk through this world without begging for attention. When you can love someone without needing them to fill your void. When you can post, speak, create not for claps but from truth. You're free. So let me ask you honestly, who are you trying to impress right now? And what would happen if for just one day you stopped trying? What would you do differently if you knew you already are enough? Because here's the truth. Validation fades, but inner peace, that stays. And that brings us to one final powerful Stoic principle. One that feels scary, but can change the way you live today. It's called memento mori, remember you must die. Not to scare you, but to wake you up. Let's go there, together. Number 10, reflect on mortality, memento mori. Let me ask you something that might stop you in your tracks. What if today was your last day? Not next year. Not after you figure things out. Not after they come back to apologize. Today. Who would you call? What would you say? What would suddenly feel unimportant? And what would finally matter? The Stoics had a name for this powerful awareness. Memento mori. Remember you must die. Not to make you sad. Not to depress you. But to wake you up to the only moment that truly exists now. Let me tell you about Yusuf. Yusuf spent years chasing things that looked like happiness, status, approval, being wanted, being remembered. He loved someone deeply, but he kept putting off real conversations. He assumed there'd always be another day. I'll apologize tomorrow. I'll tell her how I feel next week. I'll change, eventually. Then one day he got the call. She was gone. Sudden accident, no warning, no goodbye, just gone. And suddenly all the things he thought were important vanished. The petty arguments, the overthinking, the waiting. He stood at her grave and whispered, I thought we had more time. That pain never fully left him. But it did one thing. It made him present. It made him real. It made him grateful. And slowly through grief he found Stoicism. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think. That's the power of memento mori. It reminds us, you don't have forever. You don't even have later. You have this breath, this moment, this heartbeat. And when you live with that awareness, not fearfully, but truthfully, you love deeper. You forgive faster. You hold your boundaries. You stop waiting for the perfect time to be happy. Because life doesn't owe you more chances. And love? It's meant to be lived fully, not managed carefully like some fragile thing you might drop. Lucius, the man we spoke about earlier, he did change. Not by finding a new lover, not by earning more, but by waking up every day asking, what is in my control? How can I show up with virtue, with clarity, with peace? He lost some things along the way, but he found himself. And that, my friend, is the real definition of happiness. If this video resonated with you, take a moment to breathe. And remember, Your happiness is not a reward someone gives you. It's a reality you build, thought by thought, choice by choice. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.